It's going to be tough for a lot of us who are spiritual, who are a little bit ahead of the curve when it comes to waking up and realizing the deeper nature to everything, and to not be attached to our gross physical bodies or societal structure or hierarchy or how people understand and think they are learning things. We can see just beyond, just past the surface. So it's hard for us sometimes. It can become very lonely. And I wish I could say it would get better soon. Probably won't. But take heart. This age is moving forward. Everybody is slowly seeing that. Why did we base civilization on this, on hierarchy, on how much stuff you have? And then a lot of people are asking, what, not just what is the meaning of life, but being open to various meanings. I'm very Eastern, tradition, Eastern path oriented, Hinduism and how they understand things. But I see even in the West, that's not, people who don't think in connection to Eastern ideas or Eastern processes. Even in the West, people are starting to kind of come around to the idea that this, magic is a thing. There's a way to affect reality. There's a way to work with reality, and there's a way to affect your will in reality. And this subtle nature of energy that is deep within every atom of existence. While we see the material, while we see the stuff that's on the surface, there's a lot of us who can see just past that, to the deeper, grander will that's behind everything that each one of us has a tie to, each one of us is a part of. Ideas about consciousness are expanding. Ideas about how consciousness is not only connected, everyone is connected, but there's a grander subconscious that we can influence in a positive way by getting our spiritual messages out there, by getting our messages of that there's an astral nature to things, there's a causal nature, there's multiple dimensions and universes, that what people see is not the only thing that there is, that there is way more beyond, way more beneath the surface. Kind of like how the earth itself is, we kind of live on the crust, we live on the surface. And then the crust, but compared to the other things, compared to the mantle and even the core, the crust is so thin, it's just the very surface. And it's strange that there's more ocean underneath the crust and on top of the crust, and there's all kinds of life down there that we have been exposed to in a while. Anyway, my point is that there's a whole lot beneath the Earth's surface. It's almost like how planets exist, how solar systems operate, as above so below. It's almost like everything's hinting at, it's kind of showing us the way to delve within ourselves and different ways that we exist, and how everything is related. Everything orbits in relation to each other, one thing to another. As human beings, the remarkable things that we can conceive of the universe. It's so big, but we can conceive of it. It's, we might not be able to visualize it, but we can conceive of it, which is mind-boggling, especially considering how small Earth is just in the solar system, let alone the galaxy, let alone to all the galaxies. There's so much out there, and the fact that we can even grasp it and touch it just a little bit is remarkable. And I find myself very hopeful just by looking at how big everything is, how unlikely us being alive is, yet we are, how unlikely life was to come about on this planet and continue for as long as it has. All these unlikely things, all these things that could have way more easily not happened. Despite that, things exist. Life exists. We can affect change in our societal lives, but in our inner lives. The fact that we have agency in this is remarkable. The fact that we're here and that we have agency, we can choose and we can move forward, and we can hold ourselves in a grander perspective than a societal perspective, than even a family perspective, or even a perspective of the education system. We shouldn't have to devalue ourselves because we don't get an A, in the education system, or, in jobs. If we have a crappy job, we're no less valuable than anybody else. We're no less human. We're no less enlightened, to be honest. A lot of us who don't find a place in society, we tend to get down on ourselves. We tend to put ourselves down. We feel like we're not worth anything because it's the way society is organized, the way that it's structured, and all these layers and layers of just BS. We do go through these phases where we devalue ourselves mentally. When we look at ourselves through the societal context or societal perspective, it's okay to have those moments. It's okay to have those moments of loneliness, of pain, of like, what am I doing here? Should I keep going? What's the point? Try to use those periods of sadness and loneliness to channel it. Redirect from self-deprecation or putting yourself down, tearing yourself apart, making yourself feel like you're nothing. Take that focus of, why am I even here, or I don't really fit in. Use it to learn something new, research something new. Just go to Google and type in some random thing that you thought of and just research it. We have so much information at the tips of our fingers, more so than any other time in human history, as far as external source. Because all those external sources of information, the reason why we get excited when we learn sometimes, or we get interested in things, is because all the capabilities that is sparked within us, whatever kind of enlightenment, whatever kind of understanding, whatever kind of knowledge, whatever kind of questioning or stimulus from the external world, whatever it is, it's sparking something that's already within us. It's sparking knowledge that we already know. It's sparking consciousness rather than intellect, which is an island floating in consciousness. The grander consciousness and the grander memory of our souls, goes back so far that, external stimuli, it's there. We may feel like we're learning things, but a spiritual teaching or a spiritual master is not creating something new for you. It is, he or she is sparking something that's already within you. If somebody else makes you happy or inspires you, it's not that they're doing it. They're sparking something that's already within you. They're, you could say, reminding you of it. All the capabilities, all our feelings, everything that we experience is already within us. We need to stop thinking that it's coming from an external source. External sources spark all this stuff, but they're not the essence of knowledge, of enlightenment, of truth. That's already within us. That's why it's so important to meditate and to dive into yourself and try to figure out, what do I feel like? What do I feel like as a soul? What do I feel like as a spirit? However you understand it. What do I feel like what do my deeper levels of psyche even feel like? Deeper levels of consciousness feel like? Sometimes in meditation, it's not about, all the time, it's not about, it's about quieting the words. So it's not about the words that we usually think. It's not about the usual internal monologue or dialogue even. It's about quieting all of that so you feel those deeper levels of consciousness. You're more likely to feel your soul or a deeper part of yourself. Quieting all the chatter, just like, the Earth's crust, and there's so much more beneath, or just like, in society, how everything is just shallow and surface level. Meditation helps you get to those levels of consciousness and understanding and oneness that we don't converse about, that we don't think about when we're talking to, people in society or people just in general. All the social niceties, all the, kind of like shallow discussions or small talk, that gets into our head, and then we just keep on doing it when we're by ourselves. But that's why meditation is so important, to quiet all that. Just quiet everything that, all these little flies that are flying around our heads, and delve within ourselves. There's an intelligence beyond the mind. And those moments of meditation when you can touch it, it's so sweet. Just try meditation. I've been describing meditation a lot recently, but yeah, just sit down, just breathe deeply, in, out. Find a mantra to say mentally. Practice just speaking mentally, because our words want to come out. Words want to be like stick on the back of our tongue, and we're so used to speaking externally that we don't really know how to speak to ourselves within, or how, the mind is filled with these surface thoughts, but there's other thoughts, there's other feelings deep down that we can touch. And breathe slowly, quiet your mind. Even if you're just sitting down on a chair, straighten your back, quiet your mind, breathe evenly, and feel that which is behind everything. Meditation helps us get to that deeper level of ourselves. But revise your thinking as well. Keep on reiterating to yourself, it's not just about thinking positive, it's about improving yourself also. But keep on reminding yourself that this is just a game. Life is just a game. Don't be afraid to lose in the game, and don't be afraid that you'll never level up, that you'll never become more than you are, because you will. You will eventually. Remind yourself that it's okay. There is reason to hope, and you will find your path. You will find a way. You will find a way through this world. You will find a way to your soul within, And honestly, in the end, everything will be okay. At any rate, I hope you found this interesting. Like this video. If you found it helpful at all or interesting, feel free to share this video wherever you like. And yeah, feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section. I love hearing from y'all. At any rate, thank you very much for watching, and I hope all of you have a wonderful day.